Wonderful, wonderful. Hi, guys. We are going to wait for a couple more seconds. In the meantime, please let me know where are you guys joined in from. I see Mr. Jamil has joined us from Assam. Hello, Jamil. Hello, everyone. Hi, Sachin. Hello, Krish. Neha Rana says good evening to you, Miss Megha.
Good evening, Neha. Good to have you here.
So we have people joining in from Mumbai. We have people from Bihar, from Assam. That's wonderful. All right, then. I think, guys, it is time to officially begin today's live session. Are you guys excited? If you are, please let us know in the comments with a yes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, guys. So I think we are officially going to begin today's very first live session from English Yaari. I am Mehak Tareen and I'm going to be your host for today's session. And this session is going to be absolutely special for all the viewers who are joining us because today we'll be discussing how to master spoken English. And we have a very special guest for all of you with us today because she is one of our star tutors. And as I can see from all the people in the chat box, everyone is definitely very happy to see her already. She is someone who has facilitated hundreds of learners in achieving their spoken English stream on the platform of English Yari. So please, everyone, join me in extending a very, very warm welcome to Miss Megha.
Hello, everyone. And Miss Mehak, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm super excited to be here.
Lovely. There are a lot of good wishes flowing in the chat box that I can see, Megha. I'm not really sure if you're able to see, but people are quite excited to see you with us today.
I mean, I think we have the most wonderful set of learners, don't we?
It's absolutely a pleasure, Megha, to have you here. And I'm sure that even the audience here is super duper excited to hear your words of wisdom. Because you already know, Megha, today's session is all about improving spoken English. And
Yes.
since you have been associated with English Yari and the whole communication domain for a very long time now, then who better to give us some useful tips and tricks than you?
Oh my God, I'm flattered and I really hope that I meet expectations today, but no pressure.
I want to tell you, all the viewers who are viewing us from Pakistan, from different parts of our country as well, Megha is such an amazing person, an amazing tutor as well. And so many of her students have also showed up today, and everyone has shown immense love and appreciation for the way she has trained them. So, hopefully, we will today also learn a thing or two from this conversation. So, let's dive right in, Megha, shall we?
Absolutely, Mehak. I think English speaking is a major concern for a lot of people in our country students, professionals, and homemakers also. So, yeah, let's get started.
Wonderful. So, to kick things off, Megha, as we already know, that English is absolutely crucial in today's day and age. And I'm
True.
sure all the people in the audience are going to agree with me on this because it has become the language of communication in so many parts of the world. And given the fact that we no longer live in a space that is so detached from the rest of the world, it sort of becomes very important to speak fluent English if you want to go both professionally as well as personally. So, Megha, I want to ask you a question that since you have been into the teaching domain as an English language trainer, what is the most common problem that you have seen people facing while learning English as a secondary language? But before you answer, Megha, I also want all the audience members to tell me about the problems that you guys faced when you were trying to learn English. Over to you, Megha.
Sure, Mehak, I would love to answer that question. Well, there are several problems that people face while learning English, especially as non native speakers. So, in today's session, I would like to highlight two of them. Number one, I feel it's a lack of English speaking environment. As we all know, India is a land of so many regional languages. We all grow up learning our mother tongue, which is, of course, it's a beautiful thing. But I also feel like that limits your exposure to English. which can pose to be a huge problem when you start working and when you become an adult. So that's one of the major problems. And another reason that I can think of would definitely be, the fear of judgment. I'm sure you agree with me, Mehek, when I say that in today's
Absolutely.
society, English is no longer just a language, it's become a parameter to judge someone's intelligence, don't you think?
Certainly, certainly. That's quite true.
Yes, and I meet so many learners who have this fear of getting judged, laughed at, or mocked if they make mistakes. So I think this fear is also something that holds them back to a great extent. And I feel like, yes, of course, these challenges are quite prominent, but with the right guidance, we all can overcome them.
Very true. Very rightly said, Megha. And I think in the comment section also, Miss Subhajit Paul says that she forgets the right words at the right time. So I think in
Hmm.
addition to this super annoying problem, there are a lot of other problems, the ones that you mentioned, and several others that hamper the learner's progress. So let's
Yes.
address these issues one at a time in today's session. And trust me when I say this, everyone, that if I had a penny for each time somebody asked me, ma'am, how can I improve my grammar or vocabulary, I would be an Ambani by now. So, Megha, tell our viewers how can they improve upon their vocabulary and grammar without following the traditional or the conventional methods of sitting and cramming bookloads of words or rules, because that fairly is very scary for me.
My goodness, that's such a relevant question, Mehek. And to be honest, even I have been in that zone where I would cram and cram grammar rules, but there was no benefit to that, right? So, to improve vocabulary, my best hack, I'll share it with all our viewers today. And that is to first identify three topics that you commonly discuss with people around you, with your
Mhm,
friends, family members, colleagues, and
mhm.
first try to improve your vocabulary in these areas. Please, to all the viewers, it's a request, do not learn random words from the internet because you might not be able to use them. So learn words that are relevant to you. So that is for vocabulary. I hope it helps. And for grammar, okay, grammar is of course one of the pillars of English speaking. We cannot deny that. Along with memorizing the grammar rules, please try to implement the rules that you have learned. Try to make your own example sentences as much as you can. Play around with sentence structures. So this way you will have fun and you'll also remember everything that you've learned. Do not learn English grammar like mathematics, where you're sitting and just, memorizing formula after formula. Don't do that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, these
That's
are
that's
my top
very true. That is absolutely true, Megha. And I think these are superb suggestions. I want all of the audience members who are listening to us right now to try it out to improve your communication skills because they are tried and tested. Even I remember doing the same things when I was learning this language. So, Megha, moving on, as you previously mentioned, that speaking English obviously takes a very critical standpoint. So, can
yes.
you share some ways with our viewers where they can practice speaking, given the fact that they may lack? Because Vikas Chabra also in the comments is saying that the lack of right environment is also something that he has faced. So, I want you to share with our viewers that how can they practice speaking, given the fact that we all live in India and mostly people generally speak different kinds of native tongues. I speak Kashmiri, some other people speak Kannada, somebody else might speak some other language. So, keeping that in mind, and also there are a lot of judgmental people, whether we like it or not, there's a lot of judgy people around. So, they might say, ki, अंग्रेज चले गए आपको छोड़ गए and some other comment or the other to basically hamper your English speaking journey. Or if somebody feels really shy, how can they actually go about practicing speaking every day?
Okay. So I want everyone to understand that mistakes are a part of the learning process, right?
Mhm.
So first we need to accept it and try to work on improving them and how to tackle the problem of not having an English speaking environment. Thanks to the internet, I think we have some amazing online language platforms like EnglishYaari, where learners from all around the world can enroll themselves and practice with some really friendly tutors, so that even though you don't have an environment at home, you'll get an environment here to showcase your progress, to showcase your English speaking skills. So that's something that I would highly recommend.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see again some of the audience members are mentioning that they are 12 minutes late. Guys, don't worry at all. This session will also be available for you to watch later on the handle of English Yaari. So don't worry if you've skipped a few minutes of this show. I'm sure that you'll be able to catch up from there. And do not forget to like and comment. And Megha, as we were talking about the improvement of our English language, and absolutely, I completely agree to all the advice that you have given, along with all the people in the chat box. Now, talking about enabling learners, Megha, you have been associated in this industry for a very long time, and you have been a part of English Shari for a significantly long time as well. So I'm sure that there must be so many learners who have excelled under your great guidance. Could you please share the success story of any one of the learners, perhaps somebody who came to you at a learner level and then at a beginner level, and then they turned out to be great speakers later on?
Out of all the questions that you've asked me, this has to be my favorite, Mehak. I have to admit that. So, yes, it's a very proud moment for me whenever I see my learners blossom into confident speakers of the English language. And one such story that I would like to share with you is of a learner named Amit. So, Amit, if you're watching this, hi. He comes from a rural area in Uttarakhand. When he joined our classes, he couldn't frame even a basic sentence, a basic introduction. But after 3 to 4 months of consistent practice, hard work, and working on the feedback, just recently I got a message from Amit that, "Ma'am, I've landed a job at an MNC in Delhi." So this has to be my favorite story, and I feel so proud sharing this.
That's so wonderful. And it's quite an interesting story, Megha. That's wonderful. I feel so happy for Mr. Amit. If you're there, Amit, hats off to you. I hope that we all can take some sort of inspiration from such learners. And I really hope that we motivate ourselves to keep practicing day after day. Because if Amit can do it, I bet so can we. Wonderful. Now, Megha, I would like to ask you one last question before we head to the most interesting segment. I
Sure.
I see a lot of the people sometimes complain that we don't have other people to practice with. In that case, what are you going to suggest? How can they practice individually if they do not completely have anyone with them?
Hmm. I think this is, of course, a common problem for most people here. And I'm sure, Mahek, you and I have also been in that area where we wanted to improve our English, but we didn't have anyone to practice with. So, what's the first thing you can do? Try to consume as much English content as possible by reading, listening, watching English videos, etc. That helps. And then slowly start to turn your thoughts in English. Of course, it's not possible to think in English all of the time because our mother tongue influence is quite prominent. At least 20 to 30% of your thoughts in the day, try to convert that. Speak to yourself, right? That's what I'm trying to say. That's something that you can do.
Wonderful.
Yes, and again, try to enroll yourself into a lot of platforms where English speaking is actually conducted, like EnglishYaari. Participate in debates wherever you can. Join some English speaking clubs. So this way, step by step, you will improve. So try to hunt for opportunities where you can speak in English, and EnglishYaari definitely is one of the best platforms to do that.
Wonderful. That's actually very nice advice. I hope the audience who is watching, guys, please let me know in the comments if you are following any of the advice that Megha ma'am has suggested so far. If you are, please type yes or no in the comment section to let us know. And Megha, now moving on to the most awaited segment of today's live session, we are going to pick a few questions from the chat of the audience. So, guys, if you have any questions that you really want Megha to answer, now would be the time to ask. One question that we had earlier, and I really liked the question, so I would like to ask you that I think Mr. Samir asked that my word power is not strong. So tell me, how can I improve my word power? So what do you have to say to him, Megha?
Word power. I think by that he means his vocabulary, right?
Vocabulary.
Correct. So, whether you are a beginner or an intermediate level speaker, the one thing that will expedite your vocabulary skills is reading. Try to find a genre that you find interesting. You know, it could be humor, it could be crime mysteries, thrillers, it could be anything. Try to first find a genre that you like and read as much as you can. And you don't have to remember every single word that you come across. Try to remember at least 20 to 30% of them that you can actually use in your daily life, right? So be very smart about which words you need to remember and which words you can ignore. So that would make your language learning journey very, very easy.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. And Megha, one additional question that I see a lot of people asking is that how much time do they generally want to spend if they want to become a confident and a fluent speaker? And sometimes they want to rush into it. So, what would you suggest in that case?
I think I face this question pretty much on a daily basis, Mehek. Like, ma'am, how many days will it take for me to learn English? So that the answer for this completely depends on how consistent you are willing to be. How much efforts are you willing to put in to improve English? But research has also proven that it takes at least 3 months to get a good grasp on any language. So I would say roughly 3 to 6 months should be enough for anyone to become good at English.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I see another question from Pinkesh Patel who says, how would we catch UK and USA accent? I believe that who are working abroad, it's the biggest challenge for them. So, what do you have to say about improving pronunciation and accent? Because I also see a lot of people feel very underconfident when they're trying to speak and they have a lot of MTI, or maybe they don't speak in a certain accent that they desire to. So, what
Yes.
suggestion would you share?
Okay, so before I can answer that question, I have to ask you a question. Let's say that there is a person who wants to become a fabulous swimmer, and that person only read books on swimming but never steps into a pool. So tell me, Mehak, would that person be able to become a good swimmer?
I'm not sure, Megha. I don't think that's the right way to go about it, but surely that person is going to drown with that strategy for sure.
I agree. So the same logic applies to improving your pronunciation and accents. Whenever you see anyone speaking in a fabulous way, try to talk like them as much as you can. There is a beautiful technique called shadowing, where you imitate the person that you see, right? So, in the comfort of your own home, just record yourself when you're trying to imitate somebody. Then compare. Are you close to them or are you still very, very far away? And practice more. The more consistent you are, the faster you will get good at pronunciation. So, speak
Mhm.
more, imitate more, and be consistent.
Lovely. Another question we'll take, and this is from one of our students, which is Try to Thrive. And she asks that if someone is already good at English but doesn't have the confidence to speak in front of people, how to boost that confidence, Megha?
Hmm. I think this is a fabulous question, I have to say. Okay. So I feel like building your confidence is not an overnight journey, right? It happens step by step. And one of the best ways to build your confidence is positive self talk. It's not reading English, it's not writing English, it's being kind to yourself. Every time you perform well in any conversation, pat yourself on the back. Tell yourself, hey, I did a good job today. So that will boost your inner confidence. So, whenever we make mistakes, we're so hard on ourselves, right? So, whenever we do a good job, it's important to appreciate ourselves, engage in positive self talk, positive affirmations, and that's the magic that will do the job for you.
Wonderful. One last question we're going to take from the audience. And the question is from KV Traveling Gamer, who says, what should I do to improve my fluency on a daily basis, Megha?
On a daily basis, okay. You have to speak on a daily basis. There's no secret sauce to this. If you want to become a fluent speaker, I would strongly recommend that again, surround yourself with English throughout the day, from the time you wake up till the time you go to sleep. Just 10 minutes in each hour. Try to expose yourself to some kind of English content. For example, when you wake up and brush your teeth, Try to listen to a motivational podcast. So those sentences will be registered in your subconscious mind. When you're working, try to listen to some amazing English songs, dance to some songs. It's okay, right? And before you go to sleep, maybe journal your thoughts, right? Writing is very powerful, Mehak. So try to journal whatever happened in that day, summarize it. So this way, English will slowly become your best friend and you will develop great fluency at it.
Lovely. Wonderful. And thank you so much, Megha, for answering the audience's question. And thank you so much, our viewers, for asking such insightful questions in the first place. I see there's a lot of other people who are trying to ask questions. We'll take one last one, and I promise we'll wrap up after this. So, one question from Neha Rana says, how to avoid grammatical mistakes while having random conversations?
Hmm. So, as I said, mistakes are inevitable, Neha. Everybody makes minor mistakes. So, the best thing you can do is not focus too much on the mistake that has already been done and instead focus on not repeating it in the upcoming sentences, right? So, that's the best advice that I would like to give you. And if you want to avoid grammar mistakes completely, then you have to work on the feedback that you keep getting. Identify the mistakes that you make commonly. If there are 100 topics in grammar, I'm sure you're not bad at all 100. Maybe there are two or three that you struggle with. Identify that and focus on improving that area. And I promise you, you will not face that grammatical issue ever again. Just be focused on where focus needs to be given. That's all.
Lovely, Megha. Thank you again once, Megha. Thank you so much for answering all the questions with so much patience. I hope that answers the question, Neha, for you. So, guys, we tried taking as many questions as the time allows because we promised ourselves this is going to be a very short session today. Perhaps the next time when we go live, we are definitely going to take a lot more questions, and maybe you can send in a few suggestions to English Yari if you are already a part. So, guys, if you do have some questions in case some are left unanswered, please feel free to ask your favorite tutors during your sessions at English Yari. And if also you are an aspiring English learner who wants to improve, make sure to check out the English Yari app for some expert guidance and a super duper friendly learning environment. Thank you guys once again for joining us. Thank you so much, Megha, for being such a sport. And Happy New Year to you guys. Make sure that you follow through on the resolutions for the next year. And if a resolution is to speak English proficiently, make sure to follow English Yari. I hope you all enjoy your evening and Happy New Year once again. Goodbye for now, everyone. Goodbye, Megha.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks to everyone for joining. I had a blast.